Hi there and welcome to this lecture. Before proceeding with picking our Instagram, the Instagram influencers we are going to work with, let's start by knowing the different types of Instagram influencers and see what's the type that most recommended. Instagram profiles are divided into two categories: personal profiles and general accounts. The personal profiles. These are the one-person based profiles. This kind of profiles is based on the identity of the influencer and his or her person. In this profile, you find related posts to the influencer life and bits of his or her daily activities. You also find so many personal stuffs, memories and stories. This kind of profiles is very powerful. The followers of an influencer of this kind adore him or her and feel very related to the influencer, that they trust him and consider the relation as familiar and personal. At the end, we are more likely going to trust someone who trusts us with his family photos, for example, or his personal memories. Let's check this profile, for example, and see how an Instagram personal profile looks like.
Hi, so now we are going to check this Instagram profile. It's a personal Instagram profile for a yoga teacher. The Instagram profile is called Beach Yoga Girl. This is the nickname of this yoga teacher. In here there is a photo of her, and in the bio of this profile we have the name of the yoga teacher, we have the hashtags, and we have the link for her personal website. So this is a personal Instagram profile. It's a profile that's based on the personality of the yoga teacher. It's a very famous profile with 1 million followers, and it's a very active profile with more than 5,000 posts, and it's too much. If we check the posts in here, we can easily notice that this yoga teacher shares too many yoga posts, and this is something very natural, and she also shares too many personal and emotional posts about herself, about her life, about her family, and about her husband. And this is what makes a personal profile different from a general profile. A personal profile is a profile that's based on the influencer personality. It's something, there is too many personal stuff within a personal Instagram profile. So if we scroll in here, for example, we can notice that she has too many yoga posts, that's sure. There is here, for example, this is a personal post. Okay, in this post, this yoga teacher shows us the difference between her life before yoga and her life after yoga. And in here, she shares a personal story about this improvement she made. So this is a personal post. This kind of post is very important because it makes the followers feel more familiar with the influencer, and not only that, they build a friendly relation between the followers and the influencer. If we scroll down in here, we will find also many personal posts. For example, this is a post of the yoga teacher with her children. If we click in here, we will find several photos of her children in different ages, and we can also see that she has add a huge description of the post. This is very important because she's sharing bits of her life with her followers. And not only that, I've been following this yoga teacher for years, and I noticed that she always tries to reply to the comments. Even if she has a huge amount of comments, she tries to reply to the comments from time to time. For example, I want to show you this post in here. In here, she replied to several comments, and this is very important because when the followers see that the influencer is replying to them, is taking care of their comments, also the relationship between the followers and the influencer becomes stronger and more familiar. Let me see if she had replied to any comment in here. Yeah, in here, for example, she has replied with emoticons, but she did the effort of replying to her followers. If we want to check the interaction rate and the comments to likes rates of this profile, for example, we are going to use an Excel sheet. You will find this Excel sheet within the reference of this course. You just have to download it and to use it. To calculate the interaction rates and the comments to like rates of a Instagram profile, I usually take into consideration at least 20 posts. You can choose to work with the latest 20 posts, or you can choose any random 20 posts to get your numbers. I usually work with the latest posts. So let's begin with this one, for example. This is the Excel sheet I'm going to use. You just have to fill the blue cells. In here I have put the Instagram page name, the number of followers, and the URL. This way I can keep all the information within the same tab. So in here you add the number of likes and the number of comments of the first post. Okay, so you just have to add the number of likes and the number of comments. And you fill this information for all the posts you want to fill. You can also add as many posts as you want. So after filling this information, you will get your Instagram interaction ratio in here and your comments to likes ratio in here. You can easily notice that the interaction ratio of this profile is low. And this is due to the huge amount of followers this Instagram profile has. Remember, when the number of followers of an Instagram profile goes up, the interaction ratio goes down. This is very normal, and this is something you will notice more and more when you work with Instagram. So if you have a store that sells fitness wears, for example, I recommend you to check many yoga and many fitness influencers to do the calculation of the interaction ratio and the comments to like ratio for these influencers. Check the best interaction ratio with the best prices and decide with whom you are going to work.
The general accounts. It's a page with professional identity that represents several people or maybe a hobby or a niche. This kind of profiles have a lower engagement rate than the personal profile. And I'm not saying they are bad, but when you make an advertising deal with a general page, you can't wait to get the same results you get when you deal with personal profiles. Interaction rate is evaluated as following. Interaction rate is equal to interaction over number of followers, with interaction the number of likes and comments per post. Let's check this profile for example.
So now we are going to see an example of a general profile. This profile, it's called Yoga. It has 1.2 million followers and 786 posts. In this profile, we find the photos of many yoga teachers and many yoga poses. It's not a profile that's dedicated for someone specific. It's a profile, a general profile with different people and different photos. The only thing that link all these photos is the main niche, and it is yoga. I have put a small exercise to calculate the interaction ratio and the comments to likes ratio for this profile and for the personal profile we have seen before. So for the first profile, the Yoga Beach profile, I have put the numbers of the last 20 posts. I have did the same for the general profile called Yoga, and I have ended up with my different numbers. So for the personal profile, I have as interaction ratio a ratio of 0.7%, and as comment to likes ratio a ratio of 2.28. For the yoga profile, I have 0.45 as interaction ratio, and comments to likes ratio is 1.09%. We can easily notice that the number of the personal profile is way higher than the number of the general profile. If we go with the personal profile with a number of followers lower than this one, like lower than 500,000, we will get better results than this one, because as I told you before, the interaction ratio and the comments to like ratio go down when the number of followers go up. So if you work with influencers with less than 500,000 followers or maybe 300,000 followers, you will get better results than these ones. And even though in our case with 1 million followers, we have noticed that the interaction ratio and the comments to like ratio for a personal profile is way better than the interaction ratio and the comments to likes ratio for a general profile. I want to remind you again that this Excel sheet will be added to the reference of this course, so please download it and use it.
Influencers with personal profiles can also be divided into two types. The micro-influencers, those are the influencers who have a number of followers between 5,000 and 100,000. They have usually a high interaction rate on their posts. These influencers are not aware yet of their importance on Instagram, so you can easily negotiate with them and ask them to lower their prices. Usually, I would consider an interaction rate higher than 6 or 7 as a very good interaction rate. The second type is the macro influencers, with a number of followers exceeding the 100,000 followers. They normally have a lower interaction rate than the micro influencers. The greater the number of followers is, the more likely the interaction rate will go down. Macro influencers are usually more expensive, especially that they are aware of their true advertising power. Choosing to work with micro or macro influencers is really up to you. There is no formula that says which is better. Many people prefer to work with influencers above 100,000 followers and below 300,000 followers. They think they have a good number of followers while keeping a good interaction rate. I recommend you to try and do your own analysis. Sometimes 5 micro influencers will help your sales more than 1 macro influencer, and they might cost you less. Do your own plan. Contact influencers with different followers number, try them and see what benefits you more. So I have done this small exercise for you. I have picked 4 different yoga influencer pages with different number of followers, and I have calculated the interaction ratio and the comments to likes ratios for these 4 different pages, and I have compared between the 4 of them. The first one is the one we have started with, the beach yoga page with 1 million followers. The second one is this one with 405,000 followers, and the third one is this one with 128,000 followers, and the fourth one is this one with 54,000 followers. So in the Excel sheet you will find in this lecture reference, I have calculated the interaction ratio and the comments to likes ratio for each page, and I have did a graph to compare between the 4 pages. So the first page, the page with the highest number of followers, the interaction ratio was the lowest, and also the comments to likes ratio was the lowest. When the number of followers decreased, the interaction ratio increased. And this is what I was telling you about, that the interaction ratio increases each time the number of followers decreases. And this is very important. That's why I told you that working with 5 micro influencers might be more profitable for you than working with 1 macro influencer. The comments to likes ratio is also changing with the number of followers. It's also increasing with the number of followers, but in here, for example, the comments to likes ratio was greater than this one, even though the number of followers in here is lower. This is not really a big sign, because sometimes if we do this exercise with different page, we will get the same results. The number of comments to likes ratio will also increase each time the number of followers decreases. But this page might be a little bit special, for example, or maybe the last 20 posts was very special. You can build your conclusion upon only this page, so you have to do your own research and your own comparison. But I did this small exercise to show you that the interaction ratio always increases once the number of followers decreases. That's why you don't have to always go with macro influencers. Sometimes it's better to work with micro influencers. You have always to consider the interaction ratio when you want to consider what influencer or what page you are going to work with.